I thought it was an open canvas. Visually, it's completely open. You're going inside a person's head. It's open canvas.
Visually and creatively, there were no limits.
It's a very visual feast.
Tarsem has that brilliant mind. He's really extraordinary. I have so much respect for him. He is the main reason that I took this project, is just because I know his work, I've known him for some time, and I admire his vision.
I was standing in as a lecturer for a couple of semesters at the Art Center in Pasadena, and Tarsem was one of the students. So we met there, and then when he got out of school, he called me up, asked me if I could help him get started, showed me his music video that he'd done in class, which was very impressive. First company I showed it to signed him, and he's yet to stop.
I met Tarsem working on a commercial a few years back. Not necessarily all of our finest hour, but we all got along pretty well, and all the players were there. I mean, Robert Duffy and Tarsem, Lawfer, Doc, me, we were all there in that same group.
So he remembered us. When it came time for him to get his feature together, there we were.
Tarsem had wanted to do a movie for a while, and the cell attracted him because of the visual possibilities.
The parameter happened to have a serial killer in it. And I said, okay, that's what seems to be what the audience want to see today. That was by and by. But visuals, that was the first thing that interested me in it, that it had no boundaries.
When I saw his reel and what he's done in the past, his work, I was like, that's it. Where do I sign to do this film? You know, he's just such an exciting director.
And I said, well, what's this guy done before? You know, I need challenges. And they said he's done commercials. And I was like, what? Commercials? And they were going, yeah, but he's the best. He's brilliant. And I was like, yeah, right.
Good boys, excellent crane move.
He's also the only director I've ever worked for who it's like impossible to go too far with him. At least on this movie, he had set his mind that too far was probably the place to be.
I always say if it's just ridiculous, it's bad. If it is ridiculous, it's okay.
If he sees something that I do creative, he may just say, that's great, but can you go further?
Usually with a director, you try to get an approval out of them with sort of a Boolean search. You try to go too far, and then you go halfway between there, and you find out where you need to be. And if you don't go too far, nobody's happy with it because they don't know if you went far enough, right? Well, you'd go too far, and then he would say, well, could you do this? And that was that direction from too far. You try to jump farther yet, and he'd say, well, that's good, but how about, and we just kept going. Most of the time, we never got too far for him.
He's not afraid, and he's got that very kind of Baroque, mad sensibility, so it's a great sort of arena to be pushing.
I remember Michelle Burke and I having long conversations in Namibia about how fun this movie was, because it was just no holds barred. You'd have an idea and he would say, yeah, that's great, and what more can you do than that? And off we went, and come up with bizarre things that we hadn't really done before. I don't think everybody really believed when Tarsem said you can't go too far until we were practically over with it, and they found that they'd all gone way farther than they ever thought they could. And there they were, and he was still asking for more.
Well, I think Tarsem likes to shock. He likes that jolting imagery. We set to, me and my team, to do the body for the morgue, and they told us they were going to take close-up shots of parts of her and parts of two other people that we did that same day for, mug shots on the wall of the FBI center to show you know, like of the victims he has killed and all this stuff. We saw the pictures that they did and we were like, oh my God, did we do that? It's so gross. So it's done with collodion plastic, and around the tip of her nose, gelatin, lips here. We had Anne, of course, with various stages of decomposition, and the scene of her lying dead with the ants, which was, everyone was just shuddering, you know, it was just really pretty grotesque.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
Feel sorry for me.
That scene was inspired by Tarsem when he saw some forensic documentation of some police footage of some body. It was a gangland person, and they shot the body and it was lying there with the eyes open and there were ants just crawling across the face, and he was very intrigued by this image and showed it to me and wanted exactly that idea. We could have done a prosthetic head, but we didn't because we had time restraints and everything, so she agreed that she would just lie down and do it, but she was pretty brave.
I've conquered some pretty big fears doing this.
Yeah, you have.
When I first read it, I thought that it wouldn't be very interesting to do another kind of a movie about a killer, you know. I mean, not because I've done a lot of them, but because there's a lot of them made, you know. But then I met the director, you know, Tarsem, and we had some great conversations, and the ideas that he had and the way he was going to approach it and what he was going to try and get away with. It intrigued me, and then when I agreed to do it, we started to talk more extensively about it, and my interest grew.
D'Onofrio, I think, is actor's actor, and they didn't know need to say anything more. He's this big guy, and you're thinking like, should I feel threatened or can I hit him on the head? You just didn't know which way to go with it. It just didn't eye you, didn't do anything, and he just came out as that person with the wig, and I just knew all I have to watch is that, you know, I film him, because it was just one of those things that you just record what this man is doing. You don't need to tell him anything, because he'll do it for you.
The great thing about Tarsem, he knows exactly what he wants in every single frame. And sometimes I had to film, I was like, wait a minute, can we just like try different things first? He's like, this is what I want you to do, which I love. That's what you want from a director, direction and knowing that this is the vision they have, and they're gonna help you get there whatever way you can. When there's nothing there, if you're working with blue screen, or the actors are not there because they have this elaborate makeup, and he's like, okay, you know, Vince will be saying to you this. I'm on a close-up of your face. I need you to cry. You know, I'm like, okay.
So hard, where you're just saying, well, stand up here. I know there's nothing in front of you, but now imagine there's a really vast space. There's only so many that you can do before, you know, it gets boring. And she was very receptive to us. And now imagine in this particular room, you're seeing a dog doing this or this thing doing that, and you had to make it up later. And those are, you have to be as trusting as you can be to the person who's telling you the visuals. And she was very.
Well, I like Tarsem very much. I think he's very talented. A lot of movies that you see look like movies of the week. And one thing I'll say for him is that he's very interesting visually in where he puts the camera. And he cares about it. He's very childlike with it. Some of the best directors that I've worked with have that approach. So that's exciting, working with Tarsem. And then I got a bonus, which I didn't know in the contract, which is Jennifer has a large posse, I think they refer to themselves as, that come to the set and hang out. So I've gotten to shoot some street slang with them and hang out with them, so that's been fun as well.
To work with him is great. I think he'll be in my journals as being one of the amazing directors that if he called, I'd perk up and get excited and want to work with him again. He's just highly visual, and he's the type that'll push you to further than you ever thought you could go creatively, and I love that.
I just thought if I could pull a group of talented people that hadn't really worked together before, and we had such an open canvas, we could design something that I think would be out there.
It's very exciting to work with people with such knowledge and such imagery. I mean, I feel I'm working with masters.
It's a great collaborative sort of process.
And the synergy between production design, costume design, makeup, special and visual effects shows a lot in this movie. You suddenly see a moment that's like incredible, and you can't really pick out the part that blows your mind the most. I mean, is it Tom's set in the core? Is it Aiko's costume? Is it Boof's thing on the wall? You know, is it that look that he's got with the hummingbird on his forehead and his eyes blacked out that Michelle did? I mean, it's hard to know what of all of that is so creepy about it, but when you put it all together, it's like, you know. And that happened a lot on the cell, where everybody just dove into something, and that was the fun part about it. It was getting everybody's juices going for like trying something new and exciting and being able to go out there.
When everybody adds something and it brings you to a higher height than you ever thought you could go, then that's exciting.
I think the look is quite original and just asks you to take a trip. Come on in and take a trip, and it'll take you to a cool place. That's it. That's all I can ask.
I'd love to get straight answers so we can use them.
You can use this, though. The kids love this shit.
Yeah, but you know, on the DVD and all the behind-the-scenes stuff, it would be nice
Believe
if you
me,
could talk about
some guy would pop in the DV and say, thank God someone wasn't answering like a Christian athlete. That might happen, too.
If you could give a straight description of the movie and your character, that would be great.
I gave you some straight, though, didn't I?
Yeah, you gave us some straight, but...
You want a little more? Let's go a little more straight.
Yeah.
And if I throw something in there, it's not your responsibility. You did all you could.
All right, yeah. Let's give us...
I'm the bad guy. Have DeLuca call me.